Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just outside of Monroe, New York, heading to the town of Palm Tree, to the village of Curious Joel, to make a pilgrimage on today, the yartzeit of Berach Moshe, the previous Satmar Rebbe. And I think the first time I ever attended a Hasidic tish was by the Berach Moshe. It was Malava Malka, yartzeit tish in Swan Lake. Rabbi Fishbane brought me there. Wasn't really able to see much. It was very crowded. But, it's special. It's an incredible thing because I was not planning to go on this pilgrimage today. I was maybe this isn't the way I wanted to go. It is what it is. I'm going this way now. I really didn't plan to make this pilgrimage. I always go for the yartzeit of the old Satmar, although I think this year I actually went like a day or two later or something. But I try to go out of my way to go on Chaf Vav, but now Chaf Vav this, and it's interesting, they're both Chaf Vav, they're both 26. But my kids go to school in Curious Joel, and here I am. Like my wife asked me to pick the kids up today, which she usually picks them up. And so here I am, going to Curious Joel. So while I'm there anyway, picking the kids up from school, I'll go make the pilgrimage. I'll go to Acharei. So, heading over here on this very holy day, it's a special thing. This week is Parshas Acharei Mos, which means after the death. And, we say Acharei Mos Kadoshim Emor. That's the order of the Parshas. After someone's death, we say they're holy, right? The thing is like the fact that I'm here today, it's kind of spooky to me personally, in a good way. It's like, I guess I'm supposed to, I was not planning to go on the yartzeit today, but I guess someone wants me to be here today, so I don't think it's a coincidence. Same thing, we just lost the one who's called the Rebbe from Yerushalayim, who I used to also go to. I was there Yom Kippur, and I hold him in high esteem, whatever issues there were, with, because I consider myself really a chassid of the Rebbe from America, and there are legitimate issues there. But that being said, it's still special. He was a special person. He was, I was watching yesterday, a video with him, and the type of chizuk he would give people. And I remember that. I remember he gave me chizuk when he saw me and I was there, or sameach, and I was the one wearing a Becca show. All the other boys, and he's like, "Oh, chazak for this chazek." He said, "I remember he said chazak, be strong." And so it was special. He's and I remember going to the tish and how much the joy that was on his face by the tish was, I think it was Shabbos Shira. He was putting water on the floor to Kriyas Yamsuf, and that's the memory I have of him. And here he was nifter just after Pesach. So it was but the Acharei Mos Kadoshim Emor, we see, the Kedusha, all right, he's gone, but the Kedusha, we could see now, and, my mother would always say she should be well. You don't talk about the dead, but the thing is, you could talk good things. In Taka, he was a good person. And, same thing, Berach Moshe. I remember Berach Moshe going to Tish, not just that one time, many times going to Tish. And one time giving a kvittel to Berach Moshe. And I remember when he was nifter, and it's hard to believe, it's 13 years already. How time goes by. It's actually, quite amazing, and I always felt a special presence by Berach Moshe. He had a very regal bearing. You felt like you were in the presence of royalty around him. That's my memories, as a bacher, going to Berach Moshe. Last time I saw him was I gave a kvittel to him. It was Hanukkah. I think that was the last time I saw him, and I went to watch. It's in Hanukkah Lecht. He was a special person, the Satmar, previous Satmar Rebbe. And talking about Acharei Mos, which talks about Yom Kippur, and the power of what it means to be a tzaddik, and also the power of connecting to tzaddikim, and just being an er l'chayid, no matter where you come from. And the power of Torah. There's a Gemara that I always like to quote, and it just so happens I learned it today. Excuse me. Excuse me. The Gemara in Yuma, Ayin Aleph Amud Beis. 71b in Yoma. We pronounce it Yuma. I always think Johnny Yuma was a rebel. But the Gemara there talks about, Mishnah mentions that they would make a holiday when the Yom Tov Haya Oisim, they would make a holiday when the high priest, when the Kohen Gadol would leave the Kodesh Kodashim, when he would leave the Holy of Holies on Yom Kippur. It was one person once a year to go to this one place, and they were just like by the Rebbes now. They have like a begleiten. You walk the Rebbe home, after Yom Tov, all the holidays. So by the Kohen Gadol, especially after Yom Kippur, they would walk him home, and they. And so all the people would surround him, and this was this whole thing, the Berach Moshe, with the Kohen Gadol. They would walk him home, and the Gemara says the Shemayin of Talion, who were the greatest rabbis of their generation, they were Bnei Gerib. They were descended from actually Sancherib, from Sennacherib, who was the king of Assyria, who attacked the 10 lost tribes. These two greatest rabbis, they were his descendants. From someone who was an enemy of Israel, he had great-grandchildren, generations later, who were the greatest leaders of the Jewish people. And there's hope for everybody. And the story goes, the Kohen Gadol, we don't know his name, the high priest at the time, the Shemayin of Talion greeted him. They said, Yas and Shalom, Al Kohen Gadol, there should be peace on you. Kohen Gadol, the high priest. And the high priest answered, it says, peace be unto you, the children of the nations, of the peoples. Meaning, it would seem he was insulting them, although there are interpretations that he maybe wasn't insulting them, that the Jews are also called B'nai Amamit. But it would seem that he was giving them like a backhanded compliment, because he was embarrassed that there were people who were showing more respect to Shemayin of Talion than they were than they were showing respect to the Kohen Gadol, to the high priest. And so here's they were going to so then their answer was, it says, better be peace unto us, the children of Gentiles, who act like Aaron, who perform the act, the avodah, the service of Aaron, than you, a son of Aaron, a son of Aaron who doesn't perform the actions of Aaron. And the fascinating part of that story is that I looked, there's a website called Sefaria.org where they have all types of Sefarim. So even though I learned the Gemara this morning, I decided, I want to look and see what the Mefarshim say, and I saw very beautiful things. But the thing that really got me was the Rebbe Tzadok. I think it's in Pri Tzadok on Yom Kippur. Rebbe Tzadok Acharei from Lublin, he says it's on a drasha for Erev Yom Kippur, but he quotes things there from the Zohar in Acharei, so it's connected to the Parsha, because Acharei is about Yom Kippur, and like I always mentioned, what I once heard on a Chabad kids phone line, they said, why is the Parsha of Yom Kippur, it should be called Yom Kippur, but instead it's called Acharei, after. He said, because it's very important what happens on Yom Kippur, but what's more important was what happens after Yom Kippur. So this was so anyway, in Parshas Acharei Moshe talks about Yom Kippur, so they're talking there with the it's a 1947 nickel. I don't want to give that away. They were talking there about the what Reb Tzadok was talking about there was that let's see, what's this? I'll give Tzadok when I'm there. So he said that when it comes to Yom Kippur, the what do you call it? Excuse me, this cold is kind of kicking me. When it comes to Yom Kippur, and it comes to Kohen Gadol going lifnei lifnim, he says that you could be a ben gerim, it doesn't matter. You can be a Shemayin of Talion that comes from Sencheriv, and you can be performing the Uvda Daharan. That by learning Torah, because they were the Gedolei Ador, they were the greatest rabbis of the generation. By learning Torah, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter the Yichus. And the whole Indian of Yichus is interesting. When I learned about my Yichus, I learned a word from that same Shabbos, that same weekend. The Biala Rebbe explained, he said, what's the pshat that Enodoim Tefillah Tzadok ben Tzadok L'Tzadok ben Rasha? Because it's Tzadok ben Tzadok, he's going to be an Anav, because he's going to look at his father, and even if it's not his father, you look at some Zayda going back. I came from the Chavos Yor. What is going to humble him, and that's why Tzadok ben Tzadok is going to be answered before. But still, the Uvda Daharan, the action of going into the Kodesh Kadoshim, Reb Tzadok says that in the deepest spiritual sense, Shemayin of Talion were going into the Kodesh Kodashim, and that's why the people were showing them covered in a way that the Kohen Gadol didn't go into the Kodesh Kodashim. Because maybe the Kohen Gadol, who wasn't really worthy, he was physically going to the Kodesh Kodashim, but a lot of the Kohanim Gadolim, they were Amaratzim. And the Mishnah in Horiya says, you show covered first to Talmud Chacham, Imams or Talmud Chacham before Kohen Gadol Amoritz, and there were a lot of Kohanim Gadolim Amaratzim. And the point that he's saying there is that that when you learn Torah, it doesn't matter where you come from. It could be a ger, it could be a mamzer, it could be anything. You could have the worst lineage, it could come from the worst people, but you are doing the work of Aaron. You are a priest. You're going into the Holy of Holies. Maybe not physically, but when you open that Blat Gemara, says Reb Tzadok, essentially, you learn Gemara Rashi Tosfos, you learn a piece of Talmud, you study, you learn the Shulchan Aruch, you learn Torah, you're going lifnai v'lifnim, because Yikarahi mipninim. The Torah is more precious than pearls, and the word pninim means Yikarahi lifnai v'lifnim. That the Torah is more precious, the Scripture tells us, than going lifnai v'lifnim, than going into the Kodesh Kodashim, than going to the Holy of Holies. Meaning, when you're sitting, you're learning a Black Gemara, you're making. That's what it says. That's why, remember we said it's called Acharei. Because what matters is what's happening after you go. It's interesting, after Yom Kippur. Meaning, how do you live your life a whole year? You're learning Torah. Is the Torah changing your life? Are you becoming a better person? It was an interesting thing. The old Satmar Rav said that if you go make a pilgrimage to the Kever of a Tzadok, and you don't learn their Torah, then you're going to a glatte stein. You're just going to a smooth stone. We should be zoiche to learn Torah. Maybe Mirz Hashem, when I get home, we'll learn a shtickle Berach Moshe. Maybe if I can. I know I have somewhere at least one volume Berach Moshe. I gotta find it in the house. Maybe I find something, if online or something, we can learn together from Berach Moshe. It could be Malam Nizman. We learned Shtickle Torah, and I remember the Berach Moshe, just recalling him and talking about stories from this tzaddik. I'll tell a story about the Berach Moshe. There was a little kid. He lost a penny or something, and they said Berach Moshe was going on the floor trying to help him look for it. That was what an onav he was. You don't expect a Rebbe to do that. And the other story was that he was very careful about the foods he ate. He only ate traditional foods that he ate in Europe. Even totally kosher, normal foods like tuna fish, he never had a tradition to eat it, so he didn't eat it. The story goes, one time there was a new cook in the house, and she made for him tuna fish. And he told the Gabba, he said, we didn't used to eat this in the Heim. Who gave this? This is the new cook. He said, okay. So he ate a little bit from it to show that he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. You put aside your own personal frumkeit, not to hurt somebody else's feelings. And the thing is, you put aside your own personal frumkeit, not just frumkeit, your own personal anything. I personally, usually I drink, I'll eat. It was the opposite. This was, the frumkeit was fine. But I don't like to drink milk. I'll cook with milk. I don't usually like to drink milk, unless maybe I mix in it some kind of a strawberry syrup or something. And usually if I eat cereal, I like it dry. I eat it like it's potato chips or something, Don't usually eat it, in milk. But yesterday when I was visiting this other prison, they had left over from Pesach, they had Golden Flow milk. They gave me 2 half pints Golden Flow milk together with some cereal for lunch, because I asked you have something kosher, and this is what they gave me. So I usually wouldn't drink. I was so excited to have Golden Flow milk, to make such a tikkun in Mahanoi, to eat, to drink a Golden Flow milk. So I didn't want to hurt their feelings, not to take it, and here it was. It would be a waste if someone else would drink it. They wouldn't appreciate it as much, So we have to have Shevach V'Yidah to Kodesh Baruch Hu. I was showing the one Galach. I said, "Look at this! Can you imagine? We come here today, and here we have Chol of Yisrael milk, kosher lePesach." Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Post all skits. We'll see you later. Take care.